Thanks, Dale. Well, for the millions of Americans with anxiety disorders, the coronavirus represents a very real mental health concern. For the rest of the populations, it's still a challenge right now to avoid alarmist thinking. And joining us now is Regent University's Dr. Daniel Holland, who teaches in the School of Psychology and Counseling and has worked as a therapist for decades. Dr. Holland, thanks so much for being with us right now.
Thank you, Eddie.
You know, obviously, a lot of anxiety right now, a lot of fear out there. In fact, I was talking to my sister last night who lives in D.C., and she has a 12-year-old son who has asthma, and she says, I had a panic attack just about sending him to school. You know, what if he gets it? Yeah. And even though she's a Christian and a total believer, but right now, we're all prone to perhaps overreact, aren't we?
Absolutely. It's so easy to see the quantity of information coming in, the intensity of the information, and have that anxiety rise up. The anxiety center of our brain works on emotional triggers. It doesn't work on data. So when we get triggered and we get some fear or concern, the part of the brain that's active is not the part that makes the best rational decisions. It's the part that reacts in a safety mode. And so what we see a lot from this is that a lot of individuals will see this information and that part of the brain get active and immediately react in a way where they feel there's a crisis at a level that maybe there isn't a crisis at this point.
You know, what's been helping me is prayer, of course, and reading Psalm 91 out loud. What are some other things that you can recommend to those watching right now who may be experiencing this fear as well?
Oh, you know, so many great things we can do for anxiety, and specifically in this situation. First of all, recognize it's anxiety. Yeah. When we realize this is not data-driven, the feelings that I'm having, they are feelings that I'm having.
Right.
And then once we can kind of control that and realize this is an emotional response, a trigger that I'm experiencing, then we can switch gears and focus on what it is we actually can control. You know, there's things we can control around this issue, and there's certain things that we can't control. So we need to direct our energy to the things that we can actually have influence over. You know, some of the protocols that the CDC are mentioning and raising, these things we can actually do to help stop some spread of any of the sicknesses that are out there, including this one.
Like, you know, when you first came into the studio today, I wanted to reach out and shake your hand, but, you know, right now, we're not supposed to do that. And we were both good. We didn't do that.
We didn't. We're good.
We still said hello, of course. But, you know, I talked to my 81-year-old father today in West Virginia, and I'm like, Dad, how are you guys doing? We're hunkering down. We're not going anywhere. Of course, he was in the car on the way to the grocery store. But, you know, you got to have food. But, you know, I think that's the best thing you can do probably is if you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere, right?
Yeah, just follow the protocols, do whatever you can do, and a lot of them will have an effect on all different things as far as influenza and other things as well too. So, you know, looking at what we can do that is within our scope, our area of influence, what things we can actually change, directing our energy there and just managing our emotions to stay as calm as we can.
What about kids? They're watching the news too. They're taking all this in. What are some conversations that parents could potentially have with their children right now?
With your children, you want to know what they know. So ask them some questions about what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they think is going on. You want to encourage, again, the things that are founded in the data, things that we know of now that would be helpful. And we want to help them stay away from some of the things that are just fear-based or things that are triggers for themselves. And that means if we as parents, if we can regulate our emotions and we can remain calm, we can help them to do the same just by being in their presence.
And fortunately, at least for right now, it seems like the coronavirus is not affecting children the way it is older adults. So that's the good news. Well, Dr. Daniel Holland, thank you so much for your insights. We appreciate it.